Hail and welcome back to When the Night Comes. I made you mischief. Let's jump back into it, shall we? My headache is persistent as I lay in bed, but nothing can possibly stop me from falling asleep after the day I've had. I finished the tea that I made with the flowers Ezra gave me, hoping that it begins to take effect. I closed my eyes, but just before I drift off, a distant whisper. My name was James. The incessant sound of fists banging on my door. My head is still pounding, fuzzy haze settling over me as I drag myself from the relative comfort of my bed, attempt to ignore the ache that has made itself at home behind my eyeballs. Oh, I feel that. I blink once, twice, and... shit. It's dark? Surely I slept for more than a few hours.
You better hope you're dead in a bloody ditch somewhere.
Fuck. Hunter Adams, if you don't open this door in the next 5 seconds, then you'll have to pay for a new one. I grimace, thinking that might actually be the preferred option right now. Did I really sleep for a whole day? At least my death will be at the hands of something other than a ghastly creature, I suppose. Small victories. I look out of the window, and it's definitely past sundown. Lunaris is covered in snow, pristine blanket of perfect white, glistening in the moonlight. There are more people in the street than I've seen the whole time I've been in Lunaris, and they're hanging brightly colored bunting from between the crooked little houses.
I have things to do. Important things. I can hear you in there, you know.
I thought opening the door and seeing August ready to tear my head off was less than appealing, especially when I probably looked like I've been dragged through a fey nest and left for dead. I gather my wits and shout as cheerily as I can muster. I'll be down in 5 minutes! I hear a series of incoherent mumbles from the other side of the door, followed by a clack of heels as they walk away without much of a fight. I get the feeling I'm in a lot of trouble. Wonderful. The Wolf is full to the brim with red-faced patrons, all wearing far fancier outfits than the usual uninteresting garments they tend to sport. I also see August scowling in the corner, but I almost don't recognize them out of their uniform. They spot me, and I almost feel my blood freezing as that ice-cold gaze fixes upon me.
We thought you were missing. I almost had a search party sent out for you.
I'm flirting with everybody until I finish. Before I decide. Even August. I don't really like August so far, but... yeah. I find myself staring as August impatiently taps her foot, clearly waiting for an apology. They look different, more relaxed, and far more approachable. It certainly doesn't help my growing infatuation with them. You look different. Amazing, actually. Their foot stills, the dark brow raising what I'm hoping is interest.
I do.
I smile, biting my lip to prevent it from growing as wide as I'd like it to. Yes, you do. You have impeccable taste, General. Thank you, Raven. It's hard to find a decent tailor in these parts, so They halted at their words, narrowing their gaze, apparently suddenly suspicious of my curiosity.
The flattery will get you nowhere. And certainly not on a day where you've shown yourself up so horribly.
I'm really sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. They raised their hand, silencing me. I don't want to hear it. If you attended this morning's meeting, you would know there's quite an important event happening this evening. We don't have much time thanks to your tardiness, so please bear with me while I explain.
We are in the middle of a crisis, yes, but the Lunar Festival is unavoidable. Harry thinks that if we postpone or cancel it, the town will erupt into chaos.
We need stability more than ever right now, and the last thing we need is more panic. A lunar festival? A festival where there are horrible murders being committed? Trust me. I know. It's abhorrent, to be quite honest. It's a yearly tradition that's been around for centuries, one that Harry holds dear. He's been distant lately.
We need our leader back. And if this helps, then I'm willing to play along. And I expect you to do the same. No questions asked, understand?
I hardly agree, and I have more than enough on my mind that I need to figure out, but the look August is giving me tells me I have little to no choice. I ponder their question for a little longer than necessary for dramatic effect, feeling them growing impatient. Absolutely, anything you need. They relax at that, their pretty eyes bright as they stare me down. Good.
And between you and me, I personally think it's a complete and utter waste of time and resources. Especially in the middle of such a crisis.
They sigh heavily, shrugging as if they've already admitted defeat. Alas, it's important to Harry that we stick with said tradition and show the people of Lunaris that everything is exactly as it should be. So just forget about the horrible murders and my sworn duty to protect and serve the people for a night, then? Yes, you've got it. And I don't have a choice? Do you ever? Point taken. Rather loud cheer rings out from the doorway, and August grimaces, running a hand over their face.
The festival itself takes place in the market. Please represent us well, Hunter. All eyes will be on you. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the town.
Aye, aye, General. Then they look me up and down, apparently unsatisfied with my presentation. You'll want to change into something a little more interesting, and I suggest you find someone to escort you. It will look a little odd having you wander around by yourself. We have to show solidarity. Who do I even like so far? Damn. No, actually, everybody but August I actually like so far. Ezra or Finn, I guess. Finn, I guess. I have someone who can show me around. Very well, just remember that all eyes are on you. And don't forget to change. I nod, smiling politely. Yes, General. Good evening, Hunter. Good evening, Hunter. I mean. I took on an expensive-looking fur coat and head out into the chill. I looked down at my outfit, sighing as I resigned myself to the fact that I should probably change. I stood in the street feeling a little lost. Last time I saw Finn, he was hanging out in the graveyard like all good vampires do, but I'd rather avoid going there again after what happened last night. The only idea that pops into my head is ask Ezra if he can direct me to him. I feel a strange connection to Finn, especially after last night. He was so kind and caring, and though I felt a little foolish for being so enthralled so fast, life is short, as they say. Of course, you're Finn. I reached the shop, the mage light just flickering and fading as I approached, signaling that its owner is leaving the premises. The door swings open, and I'm met by a startled-looking Ezra. Raven, are you okay? I'm fine. I was wondering if you could help me find Finn. His expression relaxes, and a slight smile crosses his lips. Oh, of course I can. You'll have to come inside, though. Omen waits patiently by the counter, smiling shyly at me as I enter. Hello, Omen. Are you coming to the festival with us? Before I can speak, Ezra gracefully interrupts. Nope, Finn. I assume you want him to... Nope, Finn. I assume you want him to escort you to the festival? Did Gus request that you attend? I nod and Omen seems confused, but enthusiastic nonetheless. Oh, okay, we'll have fun. Ezra winks at me, quietly ordering the demon to stay put while he directs me towards the back room. Ezra stands beside the trapdoor that sits in the center of the room, turning to face me, his eyes sparkling. Want to see a trick? A trick? He laughs, bending down to unhook the latch. I was expecting him to cast a spell, but... Watch and learn. He lays flat on the ground, sticking his head through the pitch-black hole, a startling cold breeze wafting up from the underground. It smells damp and old, not exactly appealing. I remember Omen mentioning something about there being a catacombs beneath the town, but they weren't marked on the map that I received from my summons. Ezra yells in the hatch, and his voice echoes eerily into the darkness. Finnegan, quickly, please. I don't have all night. I stare at him as he stands and runs his hands over his tunic. He'll be along shortly. Would you like me to wait with you? I hear the front door of the shop opening, followed by muffled laughter. Ezra's eyes widen and he grimaces. That's probably my cue to go. I can't leave those two unsupervised for too long without something getting broken. Do you mind? Those two? He sighs, throwing me a sorry look. Omen and Alcar. Alcar likes to tease him, tell him unsavory things I can't risk him repeating in public. Again. Unfortunately, Owen isn't fully attuned to the ways of our world just yet, so having a lycan who enjoys causing trouble around him could lead to some issues. He sounds exasperated, but he looks strangely happy. I can tell he has a lot of affection for his little band of supernatural misfits. That is until a rather loud crash rings out from the shop. Oh dear. I can wait. Go on. Do you need me to lock up? Would you? Finn knows how. Thank you so much. He grins and there's no look in his eyes. Have fun. He won't keep you waiting too long. He's usually quite punctual. See you later, Ezra. He bids me quick farewell, leaving me standing in the middle of the door, apparently waiting for a vampire to pop up from under the floorboards. What is my life? I wander over the countertop while I wait, expecting the paintings that adorn the walls. The one that sticks out to me the most is a striking portrait of Ezra. He has his eyes closed and he looks so peaceful. I idly wonder if he did these himself. Do you like them? Ooh, his outfit. Damn. Damn, sir. I turned startled but somehow not surprised to find Finn standing before me. I glanced down and the hatch is already closed and latched. You did these? He nods, leaning in to inspect his work. He looks dashing in a rather extravagant, well-tailored coat that ends just below his knees. I assumed he's dressed like this simply to fit in rather than to keep warm. The dangerously low cut of his shirt fully confirms my theory. Yeah, he's not staying warm with like half his titties out.
I did. It's a silly hobby of mine. You tend to have many hobbies when you have eternity stretched out before you.
They're beautiful. You're quite talented, you know. Someone brushes his mind as he steps closer and I try not to shiver.
I've had centuries of practice, so I could probably serve to be a little better. But I find myself lacking a muse lately. My inspiration is gone.
Reaches up, traces his fingertips over the petal of one of the white anemones that takes pride of place in a smaller painting. That's a shame. He shrugs as if he's unbothered, but the sly smile that curls his lips hints at something else. He turns to me my gaze, and I'm still caught off guard by the startling brightness of those golden eyes. I idly wonder if I'll ever get used to them.
Though I'm sure I'll find one soon.
Sir. Then a wolfish grin affords me a quick glance of his fangs, because before I can get too lost in it, he turns and heads for the front of the shop. I gather my wits and follow him. Finn locks shop with practiced ease, placing his iron flat palm against the door, marking the surrender life of the briefest of moments, a faint magical shimmer rolling over the weathered wood. What was that? Finn joins me on the street and flexes the fingers of his prosthetic.
Ezra uses wards to protect the shop, just to be cautious. There's plenty of nasty little things lurking around here who would quite like to get their hands on his wares.
Plus, it's just another handy little trick this thing can do. Another? He raises his dark eyebrow at me, sticking his hands in his coat pockets. That's for me to know. I scoff playfully, picking up my pace to catch up with him as he attempts to hide his smirk by wandering ahead. So how many of these lunar festivals have you attended? I fell in step with him, finding myself strangely transfixed with how human he can be in moments like this. Let's see. I think I lost count a few decades ago, to be honest. We'll just go with a lot. There are so many things I long to ask him, but I wonder how boring it must get for someone who's lived as long as him to tell the same stories over and over again. So you really live under the town? How big is your clan?
13, including me. So, relatively small. And yes, there are catacombs that run right beneath us. It's quite cozy down there, actually.
I crinkle my nose at him, earning a laugh.
Hey, don't look at me like that. It is, I swear. We take full advantage of the fact that we have somewhere safe and comfortable to live during daylight hours, without confining ourselves to caves or boarded-up dives.
I'm sure you're the envy of all the other clans. They mostly despise us. We are quite murderous or hungry enough for them. Are you, close with any of your clan members? He promptly stops walking, his boots scuffing against the icy cobblestones. Close? Clear my throat, shrugging, trying to brush it off. I know what I meant, and I think he does too. You know, intimate. I haven't heard many vampires who don't have mates, especially those who are clan leaders. He stares me down.
I don't have a partner right now, no. I can't say I'm interested in getting into relationships with my own kind.
Isn't that lonely? His nose will be tinged with a little sadness.
There are many ways to cure loneliness. However, being immortal is inherently lonely, regardless of your relationship status.
So, if you don't favor other vampires in that way, what species do you prefer to seek the company of? He starts walking in, tipping his head for me to follow.
Humans, of course.
I mean, I'm gonna ask him that, but I'm trying to flirt with the man, so... He tilts his head, carefully nudging me with his elbow, and steps a little closer. I bite my lip, trying to stop an idiotic smile from spreading across my face. Well, it's just lucky that I happen to be human then, isn't it? He was to stand in front of me, walking backward, a shitting grin on that infuriatingly handsome face.
Quite lucky indeed.
I try to avert my gaze and step ahead slightly, but he follows me with a smile, one that has heat creeping onto my cheeks, even if it's possible cold. Aren't you supposed to be escorting me, not teasing me?
Oh, but you're so easy to tease. I do enjoy making you blush. The color suits you.
I roll my eyes, stopping dead in my tracks, earning a laugh from him. I'm not blushing, it's freezing. Apparently I'm a liar now. He reaches for my wrist, his long fingers gently curling around it, his thumb pressed against my fluttering pulse. His gaze flickers to the point of contact, then back to my face. My skin is somehow light even underneath his cold touch. He asks him for permission, and I nod, granting it to him. He turns my hand over in his, my palm facing up. He traces the lines: head, life, sun, fate, and heart, and he watches me intently as he does so. I really think it would be cool to have someone read my palms. I do not know what all the lines mean, and I would like to know. I'm very curious about that kind of thing.
You know, I can feel every hitch in your breath, every rush of blood in your veins, the steady and not so steady beats of your heart. There's no hiding from me, Hunter.
Well, fine. Clear my throat, finding it hard to form words. His touch is so painfully gentle it almost aches. No hiding, He pauses over my pulse, pressing a little harder and feeling it protest against his fingertips.
My instincts are not something I can switch off. But you really have no reason to hide. I'm not going to hurt you, unless you ask nicely.
He slowly releases me, guiding my hand back to my side, and I miss the contact the moment it's gone. You're impossible. The shrug is moving onward, his hand back in his pockets. He throws me a look over his shoulder, something soft and affectionate.
Humans.
Mr. Flirty McGee over here. I say as though I didn't start it first. The festival is overflowing and teeming with life and laughter as we push our way into the crowds that gather around the colorful stalls. I sit close to Finn, amused to see townsfolk enthusiastically waving and smiling at him. You're quite popular, aren't you? He shrugs, a hand hovering close to my waist as he guides me through.
We offer the town protection, so most of them tend to be quite grateful to us. There are some who are less than thrilled about my presence, though, so don't be fooled.
We finally find a break in the crowd and move to stand near the edge of the market where we can see the docks clearly. It's mostly the older residents who are hesitant to trust me, and I don't really blame them. Why wouldn't they trust you? He looks away, flexing his fingers, the magic that flows through his iron arm fluttering with the movement.
Because I'm still a vampire. The former head of my clan, my sire, was not interested in offering the town any kind of protection. Though we did not hunt near here, word travels.
The signs between us linger, giving him a moment before he's turning to me with that trademark toothy grin. Let me show you how us Lunarians do things, shall we? He holds out his hand and I take it without hesitation. And Piper emerges from the crowd, stopping us both in our tracks. She's armed, albeit subtly, and her smile is friendly as she approaches. Oh, I want to see her outfit.
Well, well. What have we here?
Also, damn.
You get the attention of all the pretty ones, don't you, Casimir?
Everyone's outfits are so nice. Everyone's so attractive. Goddamn.
Hello, Piper.
Pretty ones.
Ignore her. She's just bitter that Willenheim has her doing grunt work tonight. Isn't that right, Merriman?
Everyone else gets a night off, and yet here I am, shouting at drunkards for getting too handsy with the sweet stand.
Kind of scarily amused by her bad mood, and she throws him a glare, but her lips curl into a smile. I get the impression these two are friendly. Anyway, what are you two up to? Going to show them your dingy underground lair, Casimir? Finn rolls his eyes. Catacombs are no less dingy than the hovel you call home, I'm sure. I'm sure they're both lovely? Piper snorts, elbowing Finn in the ribs. I prefer to stay above ground. Those tunnels give me the creeps.
Well, you give us the creeps. So I guess we're even, aren't we?
Says the dead man.
Are you really working tonight, Piper? She sighs and cocks her head. Yes, and I'd better get back to it, actually. No doubt Willenheim is on the lookout, just dying for me to fuck up. It's nice seeing you both. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Piper waves as she departs, shouting loudly as she goes.
Fingers crossed for no horrible murders.
The only reason I'm really hesitant to romance her is that I will have to voice her more often. And I'm really bad lately at doing a British accent. And that's what I decided on that she has to have, because I feel like she has, like, a more prominent accent than some of the others. Finn huffs a laugh, shaking his head incredulously. You two are friends, then? He shrugs. I suppose. She's alright and doesn't bother us. She's good at understanding we mean no harm. I think you two were quite similar actually, so that makes sense.
I've been compared to worse. I'll take it. At least she can hold her liquor. Come on, let's have a look around.
He insists on showing me his favorite stall, one that overflows with a selection of beautiful parchments, colorful inks, and sketchbooks. He enthusiastically points out which notebooks he purchased for Elman when he saw him scribbling on the back of Ezra's shop records one day. Turn the corner and find an exasperated Ezra perusing the herbalist stall, bickering with the sour-faced woman that owns it. Finn smiles, approaching him quietly and placing a hand upon his back to announce his presence. Is there a problem? Ezra turns, visibly relaxing when he sees him. Nothing other than her trying to stiff me for his shoddy Angelica route. He mutters something under his breath and hands over his coin, stuffing the goods into his pocket. Everyone's outfits just looking so good tonight. I would wear this, though. His outfit is the coolest one so far. Sorry about that. I apparently take the price of goods a little bit too seriously sometimes. Are you two enjoying yourselves? Finn looks at me expectantly, raising his scarred eyebrow in question. Of course, how can I not with such a wonderful guide? Glad to hear it. I'd better dash. I left Elman and Alcor with the dogs to save a spot for the fireworks. Was that a good idea? Alcor probably has him halfway to Thyrus by now. I laugh, but it's probably true. Shit. I'll go and see if I can find them. I've already confiscated chocolate from Elman twice. He just can't resist, can he? No matter how much he complains about his tongue tingling. That must fucking suck. He's allergic to chocolate. Enjoy the fireworks. I hear they'll be quite impressive this year. He glances at Finn and winks playfully. Behave, you.
Don't I always?
If you say so. Goodbye, you two.
Would you like to watch the fireworks? We don't have to. They're not exactly impressive, and I've seen them more than a few times in my lifetime. But if you want...
What would you do if you weren't here with me? He ponders my question for a moment, scuffing his boots on the ground as he steps closer.
Let's go for a walk. I want to show you my favorite place here in Lunaris. It's not far. Come on.
He takes me down the beach, and it's small and not exactly something you would expect to see in a town like Lunaris. The water that gently laps against the shore is soothing. I can see why he likes it here.
I come here often. It's one of the only places that I can find a little peace, other than the graveyard.
When was the last time you saw the sun? I must immediately regret asking him when I see his face fall.
Oh, just a good 660-something years ago, give or take. But that's okay. because I have places like this that still look wonderful in the darkness. And good company helps too.
He stands close, her fingertips brushing. I shiver at the feel of his cold skin, craving that contact. Thank you for showing me. It's really lovely. He hums his agreement, and we stand in silence for a little while, the noise of the festival, a distant murmur. I run my eyes over his face, the milky glow of the moonlight spilling over his cheeks, and his dark lashes flutter as he stares up at the stars. My heart stutters in my chest, and I think back to his words earlier on, knowing that he's heard it. I wonder what it sounds like to him. Is it a rush, quickening, a desperate thrum? Smirk crooks the corner of his mouth, but he doesn't turn to meet my gaze. Fireworks burst across the sky, sparks scattering wildly. Finn looks as otherworldly as he truly is, as his sharp features are bathed in ever-shifting colors. He looks skyward, and it's only as I avert my gaze that I feel him looking at me. Beautiful. Next word is wrong. Yes. Beautiful. I feel his fingers reach for mine, the wrist stuttering as I meet his touch willingly. Then I feel an ice-cold chill of his skin, cooled and impossible heat as I feel on his back. Fireworks stop and the crowd cheers, and then there's perfect silence. Nothing but him and I and the gentle sound of waves laughing against the shore. My gaze drops to our loosely entwined fingers and up to meet burning gold. With little thought and very little hesitation, we both lean in until our lips are but a breath apart. Then, a scream. Blood-curdling and awful in the distance. Any dialogue label fight in this chapter would lead to scenes containing gore and violence. Player discretion is advised. Okay, I'm ready. Cold winter wind rips around my skin as I run fast as I can, sinking deeper into the ominous woodland that surrounds Lunaris. I'm hot on Piper's heels and she's determined and hyper-focused, as am I. There's nothing like the hunt, the way my instincts drive every feeling, my senses sharpened to a knife's edge. My every thought is fixated on winning and only winning. I can think of nothing else but finding the source of distress, a terrible sense of dread swirling deep in my gut. The woods are teeming with every hunter and enforcer Lunaris has to offer, each and every one of us silently hoping this isn't what we think it is. This isn't the fifth victim we've all been expecting. Another of our comrades targeted and slain so brutally and without apparent motive. Killed simply for doing their job, protecting humankind. My feet pound the frost crisp grass, tall with trees with gnarled branches that curl inward like talons, almost naked from winters the grass blooming high above us. I spot eyes glowing in the distance, but I quickly realize that they're carved messily into the rickety tree trunks. They glow ominously, and as another gust of wind blows, I swear I see them blink. I make a mental note to remind myself to return to investigate. I'm sure they're nothing new, not in town like this. Piper skids to a stop, her fingers diligently hovering just above the handle of each for daggers that sit safely in the holster of her back. Piper skids to a stop, her fingers... yeah, I read that already. Did you hear that? Quite obvious whisper echoes amongst the trees. Being grown for something unquestionably inhuman, from a creature. I did. Her fingers twitched, so did mine. Eyes narrowed ever since razor sharp and zoned in on that singular point.
It feels young and inexperienced. It's beneath our skill level. Beneath us.
She says it with such confidence, but her guard is still firmly up. A duo of wide-eyed hunter sergeants that had been ordered to tail us arrive at our sides, their cheeks rosy from a harsh bite of the wind. Major? Piper opens her mouth to respond, but she pauses, looking to me.
You're the highest rank here, General. Do we move on and let these two handle it? Or do you fancy working out some tension?
I could always do with working out a little tension.
That's what I was hoping you'd say. I haven't had a good fight in what feels like forever.
I turn to address the sergeants. Continue heading for the rendezvous point. If you encounter General Willenheim, tell them we're on our way. Not a little too eagerly and run onward. The hairs on the back of my neck rise the second they're out of sight. My body is gearing up for a fight, adrenaline coursing generously through my veins. Close my eyes and clear my mind. I can hear the steady, assured thrum of Piper's heartbeat, the quiet rustle of grass, the leaves rustling in the trees. Then I feel it. A vampire, a youngling. Her aura is frantic and skittish. She's only just awoken. She's hungry and scared. She's trying to hide. I smile. We're out quite far. I always used to find younglings in this area. She can likely sense that there's a clan here. She's either seeking guidance or an easy meal. It's too dangerous to let her live. She's unstable. Then we kill her. The youngling finally emerges from the tree line. Her vivid crimson iris is surrounded by a blackened sclera. Her eyes flicker wildly as she lumbers towards us, unfocused and impossibly unsteady on her feet. This should be easy. She's clearly deprived of blood. Dark fighting fangs surround her wide eyes and creep down her pale cheeks. She wears no shoes, her feet are black with mud, and her clothing is torn and saturated with blood, most of it likely her own. Her death is obviously an unmerciful one. She's clearly been left to navigate her rebirth by herself, and this never ends well. Ends in the slaughter of innocent lives. Her lips curl menacingly to reveal sharp fangs that she's still clearly getting used to, as she lunges at us without hesitation. Before she even gets a chance, I propel myself forward, lunging and knocking her off balance. I watch her stagger, her newly broken fangs bared as she scrambles on shaky legs to steady herself. I circle her, a hunter and its prey, because that's exactly what we are. She doesn't stand a fucking chance. Pepper shifts some wire behind me, considering we never hunted together before, our instincts are perfectly aligned. She moves, I moves, it moves, we attack. She tries to attack again, shrieking as she attempts to fling herself forward and attach herself to my neck.
Not today, sweetheart.
I grab her arms, twisting her and holding her tightly. The Piper sinks one of her daggers into her shoulders. The youngling screeches, a deafening sound that leaves my eardrums crackling. She thrashes as the silver burns her flesh, the smell of it turning my stomach. She tries to claw with the blade, leaving her fingers bloodied even more so than they already were. I tackled her to the forest floor, pushing her face into the dirt, my knee launched firmly against her spine. The youngling screams as Piper forcefully grabs her hair, yanking her head back. She stares her down, tactfully avoiding the snapping of her jaw, and she shakes her head.
Put her out of her misery.
Work in tandem to remove her head clean from her body. It's the only way, however violent it may be. I feel warmth spread across my skin, the unmistakable smell of copper permeating the air. The visceral sound of tearing flesh and breaking bones fills the clearing. It turns nothingness beneath us. An unrecognizable pile of blood and viscera, yet another human life stolen and twisted into something evil. Well, that was fun. I brush the dirt from my knees and take a deep breath, watching Piper clean off her bloody daggers on the grass. We should really get going. She turns to face me, and I spot that her face is covered in a dark splattering of crimson. I point to my own cheek, tapping it gently. She looks at me like an absolute idiot. You've got blood on your face. Oh well, what's new? You do too. Are you stealing my look? I shrug, scrubbing at my own skin at the sleeve of my jacket just to be sure. It comes away a deep crimson. I call it hunter chic. Pepper rolls her eyes, sheathing her daggers and swiping at her face. She offs as the slowly drying blood smears across her rotten skin. Piss. Gone? I stood very carefully, nodding my approval. Clean as a whistle, or at least as clean as someone who hasn't just slain a feral, murderous vampire? Bad jokes. Why am I not surprised? She takes a deep breath, looking around the now eerily quiet clearing.
We'd better get going. August will be having an absolute bitch fit.
Pepper tilts her head aside, a loud crack as her bones click back into their rightful place. Let's dash. Alright, I think we're gonna leave things here. If you're enjoying the video, if you're enjoying the series, if you're enjoying the game, what have you, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Maybe leave a comment if you're feeling generous. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!